Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the big show. It's your buddy Bruce here, traveling with Bruce, TWB. Welcome one and all to the channel today. It is October the 3rd, Monday, 2022. Good to have you here. You may notice that the background is just a little different. We have been moved to a new top secret location, Jennifer and I. We have made another move. We're still in Calgary, but we have a little more room now to hang out. We're in a two-bedroom condo, and we have a kitchen and our own bathroom and two bedrooms and a living room and a patio. It's fantastic. We went grocery shopping on Saturday for the first time in 6 months, Jennifer and I, because for the last 6 months, we have been in Europe for 10 weeks. And coming back, we have been in hotels. And generally, the hotels we stay at have breakfast included. And so we are really on our own for lunch or dinner. And we usually go out for a bite later in the afternoon. And that's our routine. Now that we have our own kitchen, we can buy groceries. And so we went to Costco and we loaded up on Costco stuff. And so we're good to go, and all is well. Here in Calgary, 76 degrees was the high temperature today. We are stretching out the last of summer, or you could call it a very nice fall so far. But unfortunately, this won't last. I'm taking a look at my weather forecast for the next week, and it is true that we were 76 today. We'll be 75 for the high tomorrow. We dipped to 65 Wednesday and Thursday, but Friday we're back to 70, and Saturday 66, Sunday 71, Monday next week 70, but then Tuesday next week the high of 55, the overnight low of 39 degrees, and the overnight low on Wednesday next week 36. It's over. It's over. We're going into the frost soon. It's all done. And so by next week, Wednesday, Thursday, we won't have any leaves left on trees around here. They will be gone, and that will be that. But it was a glorious summer this year for Alberta. Maybe too hot for some of you where you are down south, but up here it was a fantastic year. Welcome one, welcome all to the channel. Thank you for those of you who are throwing a thumbs ups our way. If you can hit that thumbs up button while I'm yapping away, let me know what number you are so I can give you a shout out. Thank you all so much. Tell me, where are you watching me from? What's your high temperature at today? What's the price of gas in your neighborhood? How's it going out there? And I have a skill testing question for you. I want you guys to think back. I mean, think back as kids, if you can. If this question is answerable as when you were children, even better. I want you to tell me, if you can remember at all, any of the original movies, the movies that you saw as children in a drive-in. Can you remember the first time you went to a drive-in, what movie you saw? And or can you tell me the first movie you remember going to in a movie theater? What year was it? How old were you? Name the movie if you can. Love to hear this kind of stuff. Oh, traveling with Bruce. We're traveling in time as well as traveling with Bruce. I have some cruise news for you today, which I'll get to in a bit. I want to say hi to everybody. Ken, Correct, Ken, how you doing? Janet and Ken from Saginaw are in the house. The temperature is 58 degrees where they are. Clear skies. We're having beautiful fall weather, they say. We just paid $4.06 for gas 2 hours ago. We're the number 2 thumbs ups here. As I said, we hear 74 right now outside. Gorgeous blue sky today as well, as it was yesterday. We are due for clear skies the next 9 days. Absolute no rain, no precipitation of any kind. Sharon, long time no see. I am number 3. Welcome. Kirk, number 4 thumbs ups for Bruce. Thank you, buddy. Shady Hill Homestead, welcome to the show. Hello, number 6. And Rogers, hi, Bruce, 6 and 7. Bullcraft Max, hi there, Brucey. Popping in to say hello since it's been a while. Hope you are doing well. Nice to have you here. Thanks, guys. We're hanging in there. Donnell, hi, Bruce and all. I am the number 9 thumbs upper tonight. Patrick, I'm number 8. Welcome, Patrick. Kevin Chapman, hey, Bruce. Glad to be with you from a cold and rainy central New Jersey. Mets game got canceled today. I hope your mailing address hasn't changed. You have a book on the way. Thumbs up, number 18. Right on. Thank you very much. Sharon, my first movie was Dr. Dolittle which was so boring that we left halfway through. I remember my first movie that my parents took me to. It was my sister and I in, I believe, Toronto, Ontario, or perhaps Scarborough or Yorkville, but somewhere into the Toronto area. This would have been 1960, 4 or 5. And I remember a couple of movies my parents took us to, and one of them was It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I love that movie. That was so much fun. And I remember Mary Poppins, being taken to Mary Poppins. And I'm trying to remember if there was another one that my parents took me to that stand out in my mind. Those two definitely stand out in my mind. Mary Poppins and It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Absolutely love those. The Great Race with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon. The Great Race with Natalie Woods. Love that movie. That was so much fun. The take, it was a great movie. If you ever seen it, fabulous. Jeannie, hello again. Bill and Jeannie are here for the big show, Bruce. We're here for the big show from East Tennessee. Welcome to the two of you tonight. Glad you could make it with me and all of us here, as every week you are here. I love you guys. Thank you. Manuel Cake Daddy Pruitt. Hey, Bruce, NBTW family, TWB. I know this is a travel show, but I bought more Carnival today. It's beautiful here in Dallas, 77 degrees. The gas is $2.72 with my 10-cent off coupon at Walmart. Rock and roll, buddy, rock and roll. Sharon, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon, if I recall. The Great Race, wasn't it? Was it Tony Curtis? Did I mispronounce who it was? Ann Rogers, Ancaster, Ontario, gas is $1.50 a liter, almost $1.51. It's going up 10 cents a liter on Friday. First movie was Mary Poppins, just like me. Probably that could have been my first or my second. I can't remember which order I saw these, but I remember these. Patrick, The Love Bug was my first theater experience in 1974. How about that? Sharon, in The Great Race, yeah, that was Tony Curtis, Natalie Woods, is that what I'm thinking about? And Jack Lemmon as the bad guy. I am Professor Fate. Jack Lemmon, absolutely fantastic. Robert Mailhood, hi Bruce, nice to see you live. It's been a while. What happened last week? Members only show was available to all. Yes, last week I hit the wrong button and it was available to everybody. So everybody could come in last week. But the members only show is usually available for members only. And so this week it was members only. And this week, this show is available for all as per usual. And welcome to the show tonight. Jeff just had a StreamYard ad on your channel promoting great live YouTube. Wow. I go live on YouTube every day on my other channel. So maybe they're promoting me over there. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Oh my gosh, movie experiences. Can you just imagine? I remember one story. I'll tell you quickly. I went to a movie with Jennifer. It was a drive-in. It was a drive-in movie, and we had two shows. It was a Friday night or Saturday night, I don't know. And the show, the main show, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of these murder mysteries. And you had to wait till the end of the movie to see who did it. And with about 30 minutes to go in the big show, the second show, a fog moved in. I still laugh when I think about this. And I said to Jen, this is a problem, because it was starting to get kind of, hazy. And if this gets too intense, we're not going to see the picture on the screen, because we're getting close to the finale of this movie, the whodunit of whodunits. And you can hear the music building up, and the tension rising and the voices. And then the fog just came in. I mean, it came in. We couldn't see 10 feet in front of us. I could barely see the car in front of us. And people were so upset, they honked their horns as if the movie theater owner could do something about it. That was so fun. Honking their horns at a drive-in because we couldn't see the rest of the movie. Who done it? Who done it? I can't remember the name of this movie. For the life of me, I cannot remember the name of this movie. It wasn't one of the Oscar winners. I can tell you that I guarantee you that. It wasn't an Oscar winner movie. Oh my gosh. I remember one drive-in that Jennifer and I went to. This might have been our last one. We went to a drive-in and they had the double header or the triple header. I can't remember how many movies. And you know how it is. If you remember, if you're old enough, you know, but some of you young enough may have never been to a drive-in. In those days, the sun would go down at maybe 8 o'clock or 8:30 or 9 o'clock, depending on how much in the summer it was. Although drive-ins in Calgary were open year-round back in the day, we had year-round drive-ins, like 30 below, kept your car running. Anyway, we were at this drive-in. It was like a fall. It was a fall time. It was fall, and we got to the theater. I think it was a Friday night or a Saturday, maybe a Saturday, and we get there at about an hour before sunset, and the lineup is huge. And this drive-in we went to was a fourplex. It had 4 different screens, one in each direction, 360 degrees, and so you could watch, 2 movies each one. That's 8 shows. Pick the 2 you want to watch. So we drive in, and we bring with us food and drinks and our blankets and whatever, and we're in the theater. We're in the drive-in, and you angle the car so that your hood is up so that you see the screen in front of you like that, and you hook in your speaker system. And actually, not even that. The speakers, you used to have to hook the speaker onto your window and then roll up your window, and that the speaker would be inside the car with this cable hanging up. But too many cars would leave without putting the speaker back, and they would rip it out or shatter their windows. So in the later part of the 80s, in the 90s, these movie theaters, these drive-in theaters, came up with an FM signal for your movie. And they would tell you, tune your radio to FM, blah, 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 and you'll get the sound of the movie through your car radio. And if it's FM, you're getting it in stereo. It was a great improvement. So we were watching this movie with our radio on, and we saw the first movie, and then to intermission time, did our bathroom thing, came back. And in the fall, you hurry back to your car and you wear a windbreaker because the air gets chilly in the evenings in that fall, crispy kind of temperature. So we chilly, we come back and we got our coats on, and we're just got the heater on in the car. And second movie starts. I have no idea what we were watching. And we fell asleep. We fell asleep in the car because we could recline our seats and relax, and we both fell asleep in the car. And I wake up. I wake up at 3 a.m. The movie ended at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I don't know where I am. I'm thinking, what's going on? It's kind of weird. And I look, and Jennifer's beside me. She's sleeping. We're in the car. And I go, oh my God, we're at the drive-in. And I start the car, and I turn the lights on, and I look around. We're the only car there. There's nobody left. Everybody is gone. We're the only car in the drive-in. So I nudged Jen. I said, "You're not going to believe it, but it's 3:15 in the morning, and the movie's over, and we're the last ones here." She said, "Well, I guess we got to go home." So I drove. Very sheepishly, I'm driving out of this movie theater. I'm amazed that security hadn't knocked on our window to get the hell out of here, you guys. They didn't want to look in, I guess. Oh my gosh, I remember that. That might have been the last time we went to a drive-in. We were officially now too old to go to a drive-in. Rocky High, Bruce, and all, number 21, thumbs up. My first film was Them, back in the mid-50s. Them. I was so scared that I didn't go to another movie until I was a senior in high school. The movie Them. Oh man, Nikki. Hi there, TV family. Greetings from Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome. Tell me the name of the first movie you ever went and saw, whether it was a drive-in or a movie theater. Let me know, what was the first movie you were ever taken to as a kid? I don't know. My first movie I remember seeing in a cinema, my parents took all of us kids to see The Slipper and the Rose. 1976. I was 12. Remember that one? Michael York and Gemma Craven. Very uncool. A Slipper and the Rose. Oh, Kirk, Enter the Dragon and Return of the Dragon was my early movie days. Of course, my parents had to get me in. Oh, yes. Mermaid Sea. I can't wait for my cruise to Hawaii. Right on. Also, hi there. Donnell, correction. Richard Chamberlain, not Michael York, starred in The Slipper and the Rose. Nikki, Rocky Grasso, them scared me to death. I remember it well. My much older sister would take me with her friends to the drive-in. Them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes, as a child, I remember seeing those movies. My dad made me read the book Airport. And then when the movie came out, the Charles Haley book was made into a movie with Dean Martin and George Kennedy. I went and saw that movie and really enjoyed it because I had read the book. That was cool. I remember The Sound of Music. I remember seeing that movie. But as an adult, date night, I remember one of the first movies I took a date to, a young lady to, this would have been when I was maybe 17, 16, would have been a James Bond movie. It would have been a James Bond movie. And I think this would have been 1970, 71. So whichever Bond movie was being made at that time, Diamonds Are Forever or whatever. I think the one movie I remember seeing in the theater that I really enjoyed, the Bond movie, was the one with the boat chase scene in the bayou where James Bond flew over the cop car. And the sheriff's going, holy, you know what? And he was in the next movie as well. He was in two James Bond movies back to back. That Louisiana sheriff was spitting tobacco out the side of his mouth. Donnell, Rocky, and Nikki, was them anything like Chucky? Was that the movie? Was it like a Chucky movie called Them? Oh my, oh my. Yeah, date movies would have been certainly a James Bond movie. But with Jennifer and I remember when we started going out to see movies when we were first together, we were both like 21 at the time. Would have been definitely Bond movies. We'd have gone and seen those, no question. But I remember in 1977 watching the movie 10, going to the theater. I think I saw 10 in a drive-in, as a matter of fact. And then I saw 10 in a movie theater the next week because I wanted the much better quality of the picture and the sound and everything. And I remember the movie Arthur in 1980 with Dudley Moore. Loved that movie so much. And of course, movies and movies and movies after that, one after the other, because when you're in your 20s and you have disposable income, back in the day, before there were VCR showed up we had a VCR in our house in 84, 85. So from 79, when Jen and I got together, until 85 or 84, we went to the movies. We just went to the theater to watch a movie, because to get a VCR was $800, so you wouldn't buy one of those. You could rent one for about $25 for the weekend, but then you'd rent like 4 or 5 movies, and that would run you like $35 in 1981, 82. That was a lot of money back in that time. And you'd watch several movies, but going to the theater was far more enjoyable because we got the popcorn, got the pop. We didn't have a kid. Our child didn't show up till we were 32 in 1988, so we got to go to the movies for a while. But it's all over once the kid shows up, and that's when you use the VCR to death. You use the VCR nonstop. Now you're stuck at home with the child, unless you're going to hire a sitter, and the logistics are just, oh my God, too much. But those were the days, weren't they? Going to the movies when we were younger and seeing these flicks, unbelievable. Donnell, yep, I was a movie fanatic back in the 80s and 90s myself. Now, thank you all for joining me tonight. A bit of cruise ship news and travel news and a little bit of stuff for you. Let me fill you in on what I came up with today. I read today the announcement was made by Norwegian today. Norwegian Cruise Lines has announced that they are dropping everything. They are not interested in you being vaccinated anymore. They don't want to see testing. They're not going to make you wear a mask anymore. Whether you've been vaccinated or not is irrelevant. You can just come on the ship. This starts as of tomorrow, the 4th of October. So on Norwegian, it's going wide open without any issues whatsoever for any of the cruises that they're offering. Interesting there. Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, they've announced that they've dropped the mask requirement for their crew members now. So I believe the guests didn't have to wear masks, but the crew did. Now, crew does not have to wear masks anymore on Royal Caribbean or on Celebrity ships, those two cruise lines that they own. So that's all gone. I can imagine that Norwegian, no masking required either. Everything is now back to the old way it was. And it's going to be interesting just to see how this, comes out for everybody, because I am constantly reading and hearing from people who go on cruises, and they tell me that, we got back to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, or we got back to Seattle from an Alaska cruise, whatever the cruise was, and there were 50 people on board or 120 people on board that caught the virus. And this is like in the last few weeks and months. This is not a year ago. This is now recent. And I heard from a good buddy of mine. He knows a couple that he hangs out with in Phoenix every winter, and he said that they came back, and the husband was really rough. He was in not good shape. He was really sick when he got home. COVID from the cruise. Got COVID from the cruise. They're certain it was the cruise. Certain it was the cruise. Really interesting, disturbing. You got to wonder, but this is what's happening. Them was one of the post-war movies about creatures affected by nuclear fallout. Think Godzilla. Then them were giant ants that would drag people into their underground caves. Terrifying. Nikki, this is so cool. Sharon, Canada has dropped its pre-cruise testing requirement as of this month, and it appears that Bermuda is on its testing requirement too. 1 month too late for Kevin and me, laughing out loud, but it's about to go. Donnell, I must look out for it. Nikki, sounds like my cup of tea. Oh, not really. Laughing out loud. Them. Well, the cruise lines are opening up wide open. They want cruisers. I read this story today about Carnival. The Carnival came out to said that their occupancy level for the third quarter hit 84%, up 15% from the quarter before. So they went from 69% to 84% occupancy average for the third quarter. But for the month of August, right at the end of August, 90% occupancy. Now, I am hearing from viewers of mine and other contacts that these ships are getting full again. They're getting very full, and it's like wide open. It is just whatever. And this is what holds me back and Jennifer back from taking a cruise. We don't mind. We don't wear masks anymore. We go out without wearing masks, but we don't go into very high population concentrated areas. We're not going to go see a movie. We're not going to go into a sporting event at the moment. We don't want to do that. And so we're trying to keep our distance from people within reason, without pushing it too much. Now we have been vaccinated now 3 times. We're going for our 4th, probably tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll have our 4th needle by then here in Calgary. So we'll be fully inoculated as best as can be. But I'm just not comfortable yet being on board a cruise ship with 4,500 people and 2,000 crew, or 5,000 passengers and 1,800 crew, 6,800 people on 14 decks. Just a little too much at this point to push it. And now that the unvaccinated, those who never got a shot, can come out and go on aboard, and there's no testing required prior to the cruise, it's the Wild West. I mean, you got to ask yourself, how do you want to do it? Now, I read today, this has nothing to do with cruising, but I heard today that Ringo Starr had to cancel the balance of his all-star band tour because he got COVID, and he has been inoculated. He was staying at home in LA for a year plus. He wouldn't go out. So terrified of getting it. And he's done 25 concerts, 25 dates, and he got the virus, and he's not feeling well. So he's canceled the rest. He's gone home to recuperate, and hopefully he'll come out again. So you don't know how and where you're going to get it. And now with the world wide open, who knows? Nikki, you and I have to stop. Sharon, Oasis class ships are a bit better for cruising because they have so much outdoor space. I'll grant you that too. Paul, what are your thoughts on the cruise line stock prices? They got hard hit since last week, didn't they? Do you think they need to drop prices to raise occupancy? What do you think they're going to do? Yeah, the cruise line shares have really taken a tumble. There's no doubt about that. As a matter of fact, I was going to talk about this. Let me get this story in first, and then I'll comment on this question about the cruise line shares. Yeah, I'm talking so much I went right past them. There they are. There they are, Bruce. There, you found them. You found them. Relax. You're good. You're good. Okay, so news that came out today. Carnival. So I told you about the Carnival cruise line wanting to go to higher capacity. They're at 90% at the end of August. They announced last week, Carnival, their financials for the third quarter. Now, the estimates were that they were going to lose 11 cents a share. That was what the analysts were predicting, and that's what they were expecting. The company came out and said we lost 65 cents a share. They burned off $600 million in the third quarter alone. They are burning off $2.5 billion a year in cash right now. It's horrendous. So going up to 90% and now going up to 100%, 105, 108, where they used to be, is the priority. They want to fill the ships to the brim, get the casino humming with as many gamblers as possible, hit you with the drinks at 10, 12 bucks a pop, and try to make some money back because they are in debt $35+ billion as a cruise line. I mean, they're just in real rough shape. Carnival is in debt $35 billion. Royal Caribbean is in debt $25 billion, and Norwegian at $14 billion. Now, these are just bonds that they've issued to investment banks and investors, institutional investors. This doesn't include the debts they have to Germany, to Finland, to France, to Italy. We're talking about the import-export banks that operate in Europe. These European countries where they have these shipbuilding yards, they have financed the build-out of at least 4 or 5 ships for each of these cruise lines, minimum. And we're talking about, in the case of Royal Caribbean, the cost of the Wonder of the Seas, the big Oasis class ships. These guys, these are 1 to 1.4 billion bucks each. They've been built in France, and I am certain that the European Union, the EU, through France itself, has backstopped the financing of these ships separately from the bond debt that they have over at Royal Caribbean. The latest celebrity ships, the Apex, the Beyond, the Edge, those were celebrities. That's Royal Caribbean. Those are all financed by France as well. In the case of Norwegian, their ships were built in the Papenburg shipyard in Germany. So we're talking about Carnival ships, Cunard. We're talking about Costa Cruises. Any of the brands that Carnival have, they're getting their ships built in European ports. Norwegian has been getting ships built, I think, in Italy, in Finland, MSC definitely in Italy, and they have their own debts. But these cruise lines have got, tens of billions more, maybe 20, 30 billion more in debts to European governments through their banking arrangements, because they've employed over the last 15 years, probably each cruise line has employed 10 to 15,000 workers in Europe, full-time, building all the components for all of these vessels that we're now enjoying. Look at Carnival and the Mardi Gras and the Celebration ship, the new one, or is it the Jubilee? These ships, $1.2, $1.4 billion each. The amount of labor that went into building all the components of the ships themselves through dozens of different factories in Europe. It's no wonder that these import-export banking arrangements have been made where the cruise line doesn't pay for the ship any payment until they take the keys and put passengers on board. That ship, right from the beginning until delivery, is completely financed through the import-export bank, and payments are delayed. As a matter of fact, I believe in the case of all three of the cruise lines, they have managed to defer payments for 1 to 2 years on each ship that they owe money on as just an extension of the loan. So Germany has just said, well, the loan is supposed to mature out in 2035. Well, we'll make it 2037, start making payments in 24 months. We'll carry it and we'll just work the interest out over the last 2 years. That's what's been going on here. So the European countries have been very accommodating for the cruise lines. Cruise lines have done everything they can to get back into business. They're now in business. They want us on board. There are deals. That is true. There really are deals, and there are throw-ins being offered here and there, drink packages, gratuity deals, maybe excursion credits, that kind of thing. They are desperately trying to fill them up and then get onboard spending to happen once you're on board the ship. And of course, last week I commented to you about the cost of the Norwegian drink package, the most expensive drink package they have now, that includes specialty coffees, milkshakes, fresh squeezed orange juice, lattes, cappuccinos, every scotch you want, rum, vodka, mixed drink, wine, champagne, whatever. We're talking $330 per day per couple on a cruise. So if you're into a 10-day cruise and you take the ultimate drink package they're offering you, $3,300 is your cost of the ultimate drink package. They need that money badly. They have, between the three cruise lines alone, I am guessing 125 billion in debt between the three of them. And what are interest rates doing right now? They're going higher, dramatically higher, which means the interest costs to these cruise lines is going to skyrocket. Now, right now, if you want to buy a bond of Carnival on the open market, or a Norwegian bond, or a Royal Caribbean bond, on the open bond market, the prices of the bonds have plummeted so much that if you were to buy a bond, unfortunately, as an individual, unless you buy $1 million worth, I don't think you can get it. A bond, even at that level, will yield you a percentage return of 12 to 15%. That's the kind of interest rate the bankers want now from a cruise ship bond. They won't take a chance unless they are guaranteed up to 15%. And what these guys are doing is, in some investment banks will buy bonds from the cruise lines, not all. Many pension funds are forbidden by their own charter. They can't buy junk bonds because that's what these are. But some of these hedge funds out there who are very savvy investors, they will buy a 16% yielding bond from a cruise line. But then they will go out and buy bond insurance against the bond. And that might cost them 3% of the interest. So they have to cough up 3% interest to the insurance company to be insured for the principal amount of their investment, or 80% or 90% of their investment. There's all kinds of deductibles and rules and regs. It's complicated as get up. But there's a huge market just in the financing of cruise line debt and any other outfit that needs to raise money as a junk bond issuer. Then there's the insurance market, the derivatives market. It goes on and on and on. Now, on the stock, it's rough. Royal Caribbean shares right now are trading up 37.59. They dropped 31 cents today. In the last year, the high for the year in the last 52 weeks, 98.27 has been the high trade for Royal Caribbean stock. 98.27. The low is 31.09, and right now they're at 37.59. So they're very close to the low of the year right now. The low of the year was actually hit just last month, back on July 14th. That was the low of the year, $31.09. So they bounced back a little bit, but they got up to, believe it or not, just last 2 weeks of September 15th. So that's barely 2 weeks ago. They were at $51. and now at 37, $14 off. That's a 28% drop minimum just on Royal Caribbean. Now, Norwegian, the 52-week high is 29.45, the low is 10.31, and tonight it's closing at 11.50 a share. The low is 10.31, $1.20 away from the low trade, which looks like would have been done the same day in July as well. This was when we had the markets had a big run well, they had a drop from January to June, July, and a lot of stocks hit their low of the year. Then they climbed, and Norwegian went from this 1031 level and got all the way up to 1549, almost 50% higher. Just last week, it was up there on September 15th, a couple of weeks ago, and today 1140, not doing well. And over on Carnival, oh man. The 52-week high is 26.42. The 52-week low was hit today, 658. 658. It closed to 690 tonight. This is the lowest price for the stock in a long, long time. And unfortunately, Carnival is burning much more cash than they had, or they're still burning as much as they were a year ago. They're burning a ton of money. Right now, it's $200 million a month. If they can get it up to 100% occupancy, 105%, maybe they can reduce it to 50 million a month, and maybe they can get within sight of breaking the barrier, because they need to raise fares, they need to raise charges, and they need to book, fully out. 85% occupancy is good, but 105 is that last 20%. You've already got the staff on board the ship. You've already got all the food on there. You got the water in the pools. You got the gas in the gas tank. Put 20% more passengers on there. That's almost not all profit, but I would say 15% of that money, like 15% of those passengers, it's all gravy to the cruise line. You've paid all the bills to get 85% on there. The last 20% to get you to 105% of occupancy, virtually all profit. And so that's what they're shooting for. They're certain they're going to make it. They're convinced they're going to get there. They will do sales, promotions, advertising, everything to try to get people to book on any of their lines, like Princess, of course, and Cunard, Costa, Carnival itself, on and on it goes. It's a tough one right now. It doesn't help that the cost of everything that we want and we need is going up dramatically. The cost of fuel for our car is much higher. The cost of airfare is going to go up. So it's going to cost more to get to the cruise line port. It's going to cost more to be in the hotel you're staying in. It's going to cost more to eat at the city you're at waiting for the ship. It's going to cost more on board the ship. It's going to cost more when you get off the ship at various stops, ports of call. It's going to cost more to get back. And so you're going to get people who are going to look at their budgets and go, well, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when in 2018 we went on a cruise, had a 1 week holiday, a 10-day holiday, a couple of days before the cruise, day after the cruise, cost us this much money. Now it's 30% more. Can we afford it? Because everything else in our lives is 30% more. Our mortgages are going up because of insurance. Our grocery bills, our insurance on cars themselves, the vehicles, a new truck, a new SUV, terribly expensive, much higher. Interest rates are surging on all our loans. What are we going to do? Are we going to be able to take a cruise or not? And of course, every resort hotel in Miami Beach, in Fort Lauderdale, in Tampa, with the storms, there's been issues there, of course, but once they're repaired, they need cash. All the resorts along the Gulf Coast, all the resorts up the Atlantic, all the resorts on the Pacific Coast, Hawaii resorts, they are in need of cash flow, and they are charging far more money today than they were a year ago for everything, because they're being charged much, much more. And so every vacation, wherever you go, Disneyland, Disney World, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farms, SeaWorld, tell me where you want to go. Tell me New York is cheaper this year than last year. You can't do that. It's more expensive to go to Boston. It's more expensive to go to Halifax. It's more expensive to be here in Calgary. And so people are really reviewing their budgets going, can we afford to do what we were doing just 3 years ago, 4 years ago, before COVID showed up? we might not be able to do that. Might have to be a vacation every second year. It's going to be tough. Rocky, when you're staying on deck 15, I would feel very anxious about taking elevators. Yeah, Ms. M. Hey, Bruce, number 32 thumbs ups here. Rocky, advertising started here today for Virgin Cruises. Patty, yes, I won't cruise until the COVID testing and vaccine requirements are over. Well, the good news, Patty, the Norwegians for you. They've lifted everything. You're good to go anytime you want. Yeah, it's been most interesting here lately, just how all of this is falling into place. It really is something. By the way, thank you, all of you. We got 38 thumbs ups. Appreciate those. If you're able to hit that thumbs up button for us, please do. And don't forget, tell us if you remember, as a kid, as a young adult, a teenager, can you tell me the name of the first movie you ever went to in a movie theater? What was it called? Do you remember the year? How old were you? Let us know. We love sharing stuff like that. Traveling in time with Bruce tonight as we go back in time, going back and trying to remember. Do you remember the first ever ocean liner or cruise ship you ever saw? Not maybe the one you were on, maybe you took one later in life, but did you ever see a famous or an infamous or a cruise liner, an ocean liner that caught your eye, or you were in New York once and you saw one, or you were somewhere else? I'd love to know that. If any of you ever saw some of the old Grand Dam ocean liners from way back when. Did any of you ever cross the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean in an ocean liner when you were a child with your mom and dad or grandparents or anything like that? Let us know. I'd love to know about that. Jeff says, I saw Ben-Hur. I remember seeing the 10 Commandments in a drive-in. I remember seeing the 10 Commandments in the drive-in. That flashback just happened because of that title right there. Jeff, thank you. It's amazing how that comes back to you, isn't it? Yeah, some of the drive-ins I remember seeing Rocky. Not that. Yeah, Rocky and the Bandit. Wasn't that? No, what's that called? Burt Reynolds and Sally Fields. Was it not Rocky and the Bandit? I'm getting old here. You know what I'm talking about. Something in the Bandit. Love that movie in a drive-in. I remember seeing for the first time. Patty, 1965. I remember seeing that darn cat in a drive-in. Right on. I remember in the old days, in the 60s, they'd have like the kiddie movie first, like the Disney movie first, and then the adult movie second, right? I remember those days. Donnell, Smokey in the Band. Thank you, Donnell. Oh, Rocky, thank you. Rocky in the Band. I think Rocky, the movie Rocky, I don't think I saw in the theater. I think I saw Rocky on television the first time I saw Rocky. It was on TV a few years later. I don't recall seeing. I don't think I've ever been to a Rocky movie in a movie theater ever, and I don't think I've ever been in the movies that Stallone did. The one in the jungle. How many did he make of those? I can't remember the name of those movies either. I just don't remember Stallone movies like that. But I do remember Cliffhanger. I remember seeing Cliffhanger. That was kind of creepy. And John Lithgow was a really good bad guy. Rambo movies. Thank you, Donnell, the Rambo movies. I do remember seeing The Terminator in a movie theater the first time. That was something. And I remember seeing the second Terminator movie in the movie theater with a surround sound. Really cool. Really, really cool. But the first time I saw the first movie, I wasn't sure what to expect. And it was kind of terrifying, but also comedic. It was interesting, but terrifying. The second one's more comedic. And of course you were used to it, but those were something in a theater. Oh my gosh. I remember seeing those. What was the other movie I was going to tell you about? I remember seeing the movie, was it Platoon? I think it was Platoon. It was all about going into this camp, the army camp, army training, and in the barracks, and becoming badass soldiers. Remember that movie? Many days ago. Ah, yes, Terminator. I love the first three movies. Yes, the Terminator. Oh man, so much fun. Oh, so much fun. the one-liners that you remember from the movie. Come with me if you want to live. Oh, I love those movies. Yes, those were memories going down memory lane, weren't they, folks? Going back in time into our youth, and the world has changed, hasn't it? Hasn't the world changed unbelievably? We're in a condo here. We have two televisions in this condo, one in the master bedroom and one in the living room. The living room has a 65-inch television, no cable, no cable. Now I'm an old man. Cable, it's got to be, got to have cable. I didn't even notice in the fine print that there wasn't cable when we grabbed this place. But it's equipped with YouTube and it's equipped with Prime, and you can watch your own Netflix on there and all that. But I can't watch my local TV station. It's amazing. Philip, Walt Disney's Song of the South, then on 7257 left New York on the MV Stockholm. Oh, man. Wow, that is something. 1957 on the Stockholm. My first ship was 1959 over to Germany, and then 1962 coming back to Canada on the home lines, the Homeric, which held 1,400 people, 1,400 passengers with 700 crew, I think, something like that. The Homeric. I have little tiny snippets of memory of the Homeric. All my memories are almost in black and white. That's how far back those memories go. They're just in black and white. The Homeric. 42 thumbs ups with 58 to go. We need 100 thumbs ups on this show. I want to say thank you to those of you who are not here live, those of you who are watching on the rerun, because I have a ton of people who watch this live show later after I post it on the rerun. And you folks, I'm always asking for thumbs ups from my rerun audience, and you deliver. You always deliver for me. And last week I said that I swear the number 100 thumbs up will come from a rerun watcher. Sure enough, was the second day or the third day after posting this show, we hit our 100 thumbs up because of you guys watching on the rerun. Thank you, all of you, for giving me a thumbs up live and a thumbs up on the rerun. It's so appreciated. The more thumbs ups we get, the more people will follow the big show. We have 46 of you here. Thank you all so much for stepping up and hitting the thumbs up button for us. It's fabulous. We got 47 of you now who have stepped up with the thumbs up. We only need 53 more, and you rerunners out there, thank you so much for coming through for us. I do appreciate it. Absolutely fabulous from around the world. You folks are watching us. I appreciate it. Let me know what's your temperature today. What was your high temperature? What's gas in your neighborhood? How much does it cost you for gas? And what was your first movie you recall seeing as a child? You remember what your mom and dad took you to when you were a kid? I mean, all of us are no matter how old we are, there were movie theaters when we were born. No matter how old we are in this show, there were movie theaters. Brent Rogers' first drive-in was the incredible Mr. Limpet with Barney Fife from the Andy Griffith Show. That guy. He was on the original Tonight Show with Steve Allen. That guy, Mr. Limpet. What was that? The three-headed monster. Giadara, the three-headed monster. Oh man. That's funny. That is funny. Let's see. Pete Hoskins. Hey, Bruce Cruiser. Sorry I'm late today. Pete H. Sydney, Australia. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. Rocky Grasso. My scariest movie ever. Alien. Oh yeah. I never saw it in theater or in the movie theater or in a drive-in, but I saw Aliens, but on television only. That one was scary too. Patty, 44 degrees Fahrenheit right now where we are, right on. Mr. Limpet, who played that role? Who played Barney Fife in Mayberry RFD? Don Knotts. I knew it was coming to me. I remember seeing Don Knotts in the movie Pleasantville. I thought he was great in the movie Pleasantville. That was one of his last roles in his working career. Ms. M, Gas 220 a Liter, Beauty and the Tramp was my first movie. I think, oh my gosh, the Tramp movie. That's Disney time, isn't it? Oh my gosh. I remember as a kid watching on television the Mickey Mouse show with the Mickey Mouse Club, and Annette was on there, and all the kids. Oh my gosh! Prospect, 83 degrees and 30-minute drive from Port Everglades. Welcome from Florida. I hope you guys are doing okay down there. Our views are quite low today because a lot of my Floridians are not with me here at the moment. Some of my South Carolinians aren't here. Some of my other folks who are normally here every week are not here this week because of that Hurricane Ian. It wiped out it made all kinds of problems. And of course, Eastern Canada, I haven't got any of my Maritimers here because some of those are down as well. Unbelievable. A Lady and the Tramp or Beauty and the Beast. Yes, Lady and the Tramp or Beauty and the Beast. That's right. Janice Gregory, Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty. I don't recall seeing Bambi as a kid. I don't recall seeing Bambi. I might have been too old for Bambi. My sisters may have seen Bambi. But, later in life, I heard that the tragic news that mom got shot. It happens. I mean, I do remember Lassie. I saw Lassie in grade 6 on a projector. They showed us Lassie. And that was a tearjerker. It wasn't Lassie. No. I saw Lassie on TV. I correct myself. The movie that was the tearjerker that I saw in grade 6 was Old Yeller. Old Yeller. Do you remember the movie Old Yeller? Who didn't cry when they played Old Yeller? Who didn't cry? Tell me you didn't cry when they played Old Yeller. You remember Annette, eh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember Annette. Yes, Lady and the Tramp. I saw Bambi too, says Miss M. Patty. I traumatized my 4-year niece when I took her to see Bambi. Oh no, those kids are nasty. You take them to see Bambi, you'll teach them a lesson they'll never forget. How about growing up without your mama? Yeah, that's right. Hang on to your mama. Oh, that's cruel. Delightfully cruel. It's delightfully cruel. Nightmare inducer for me was A Night of the Living Dead. I was way too young to see that. Oh, Night of the Living Dead. My mother told me about a movie that she said you can't see until you grow up, but I'll tell you about it. I said, oh, okay. Dad and I went to see a movie and we saw this. I'm going to tell you about this movie. And I didn't see it for years later. And the climactic scene was, and I'm trying to remember who was the star of this movie. It was a female actress who I think was in Breakfast at Tiffany's. You remember that movie, Breakfast at Tiffany's? That actress, famous. She was in Roman Holiday. You know who I'm talking about? The movie's climactic scene, she played a blind woman. She was a blind woman in a movie. And she had somehow been a witness to a murder. And she was talking to a police officer, a detective, and telling him about this event. And at first he wasn't so sure about her credibility much. She lived in a little apartment, like a 1-bedroom little tiny loft apartment. And the killer, the one guy who was the killer or was a co-conspirator as a killer was coming to get her. And the police officer called her on the phone and said, I'm coming to your place. The guy that we know we're after is headed for your apartment. Lock your door. I'm coming over as fast as I can. And my mother described this climactic scene in the movie where she was alone in this apartment with this killer with a knife. And he was going to get, he could see perfectly. She was blind. And I can't remember the name of this movie. Audrey Hepburn is who we're talking about. Yes, Audrey Hepburn. And I'm not sure if it's A Shot in the Dark or I'm not sure if that's the name of this movie. But this was, I believe, a black and white movie way back when. Donnell, remember Fish Called Wanda? I sure do. I loved it. And she was describing, I was on the edge of my seat just listening to my mother describe the last 15 minutes of this movie this climactic scene where this professional hitman had come to get her, and how she outwitted him and survived. Just incredible. And then when I saw the movie, I was so impressed. First, with my mother's incredible description of what had happened, but the movie itself, how this was made, was really something. But you think I can remember the name of the movie? I don't remember the name of the movie. It's not Dial M for Murder. It's not that one, but it was pretty something. Scary. Ms. M, what about Creature from Black Lagoon? Still check my closets because of that movie. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Look out, Prospect. I'm only 54, so the scariest movie I ever saw was Poltergeist. Rocky, Audrey Hepburn. Yes. Alan Arkin. Was he in that movie? Was he the bad guy? Was he the psycho bad guy? Patty, I was traumatized when I saw The Birds. Even now, it creeps me out when I see a large flock of birds. Yeah. Kevin Chapman from Nikki, I was in college and the Night of the Living Dead freaked me out. Years later, when we lived in Pittsburgh, we met many of the actors who were in G.O. Romero's films. Rocky, yes, A Shot in the Dark. That was the name of the movie. Full Metal Jacket. That's the movie that was about the camp. That was another one of those. I think that was the one. Although I want to say, anyway, it doesn't matter. I believe it was Wait Until Dark. Maybe it was called Wait Until Dark. Jeff, Wait Until Dark. So creepy. Yeah, you gotta watch that one. Well-made movie. Definitely a 60s. It would have been like a mid-60s, 65, 66, I think, vintage movie. Really something. Yeah. And Audrey Hepburn played a phenomenal role as this blind young gal. Amazing. Just amazing. Wait Until Dark. Pretty cool. I can tell you one thing about the movie at that last scene. She shut off the lights and she cut off the electricity to the apartment. She somehow knew where the fuse box was, and she cut off the lights. So now the apartment was dark, and the killer who wanted to get her was in the dark. He couldn't see. She couldn't see, but she knew where she was. And now we were watching a movie in the dark, and all we could hear were the sounds. Oh, gosh, that was such a good movie. So well thought out, as so well made as a movie. The movie makers who made that movie, really good. I've got about 50 movies to watch or rewatch, thanks to all of you guys. There you go, Donnell. You're going to have plenty to watch this winter. No problem at all. The best movies out there are the ones already made. There's already phenomenally made movies that one and all can see anytime they want. Very good stuff. So much fun. Thank you all for being here tonight. 53 of you have found a way to hit the thumbs up button, and I couldn't be more happy about that. I've only got 42 people here. I got 53 thumbs up. So, I mean, hey, thank you all so much for hitting that thumbs up button for us and letting us know you're watching. One more story for you. I got one more cruise story for you. I just thought about this. You may or may not have heard this story. Have you heard about the fact that Carnival now has a code of conduct clause in the contract between you and the cruise line? If you go on a Carnival cruise, and I believe this is going to be across all their brands, it doesn't matter which of the brands you're on, you have knowingly or unknowingly agreed to the new code of conduct clause in your contract, your sailing contract, when you go on a cruise with Carnival. The Carnival code of conduct contract for guests authorizes the cruise line to charge you $500 as a fine if you are involved in any fisticuffs, in any event that causes damage to the ship, causes security to be called out for a ruckus that you're involved with. It also holds you liable, potentially liable, you and a group of people. If you're all brought in together, you each are liable for a $500 fine, and the costs that could be associated with the event, which could be ship docking fees. If a ship has to go into a go to the nearest port of call because of something you did on board, police investigation costs. If they have to call the cops from the shore to come out in a boat and come onto the ship, and that's $1,000. You're on the hook for that. Fuel costs. If the ship has to veer off course to go 100 miles, 200 miles to the nearest port of call, put you in jail over there and your party in jail, the cost of the fuel of the entire ship, you're paying for it. They're going to nail you for this. Taxes as well, port taxes and so on. This is all in a new contract from Carnival. So watch out. Don't be starting any fisticuffs, you guys. Go on a cruise to relax, but don't get too hammered and start fist fights with some of these Satan choice people that you think you recognize. Don't go up to some guy and criticize his tattoo, calling it a girly tattoo. Don't be doing that. You're just going to get yourself into trouble. You're going to get arrested and put into the brig, and then you're in charge. You're going to be nailed all kinds of costs. It just isn't worth it. You gotta just let it go. You just let it go, and not worry about it. Prospect 86, Fear of the Night with Joan Collins, Philip and Richard Crenna, and with Audrey Hepburn. Nikki, great fun. Maybe it's time for a movie trivia night. Rocky Donnell, Airplane, love Airplane. Emmanuel, Cake Daddy Pruitt, what scared the mess out of me was Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot. Sin City, imagine needing a code of conduct on a cruise liner, right? Just got off Royal Caribbean. We hardly saw our cabin attendant. We get that they're trying to cut corners and get some money back. It didn't actually affect our stay, but that relationship is gone. Isn't that interesting how the staff is probably so overworked? They're probably short of staff. They probably have these room attendants doing 50% more rooms. They don't have time to spend with any of the passengers anymore on these decks. Isn't that really is something? Yes, the code of conduct, people. Be on your best behavior the next time you go on a Carnival cruise. Don't be surprised if Royal Caribbean and Norwegian are following right behind these guys, because there have been all kinds of fist fights and brawls on all kinds of ships everywhere. We thought this was an Australia thing. Now we're seeing it off of New York cruises and Florida cruises. There's a lot of angry people out there. Donnell, great shows, Bruce. Night. Have a safe week, y'all. See you back here next Monday. You too, Donnell. Thank you. Zen Laura, 1976, the movie Carrie. Oh, yeah. The movie Carrie and Poltergeist and I See Dead People. Oh, my gosh. Oh, there's some creepy stuff out there. There's all kinds of fun movies to watch. Isn't that something? Folks, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. We have 55 thumbs ups that have come in today. I couldn't have asked for more. 40 some odd people here. We have 55 thumbs ups. You guys are great. Thank you all. Join me next Monday, 8 o'clock, right here. Same back channel, same bat time. And we will go down memory lane again, but we'll bring out some cruise and travel news for you and talk about cruising and everything else. Thank you all for supporting this channel the way you do. Tell your friends we're here. We have a good time Monday night, 8 o'clock. And hopefully we'll see you soon out on the road. We'll keep you posted of our travels coming up for Jennifer and I. We look forward to catching up with all of you. Have a great week. Stay healthy. Don't get ill now. Be careful. Get your shots and take good care of yourselves, and give your loved ones a special extra long hug, especially your elders. Give them a little longer hug next time you see them, because you never know when it's the last time. You never, ever know. And you can't go back. So thank you, all of you. Have a great one. Thank you, Sharon, for keeping the count for me. Have a good time, everyone. A great week. And we'll see you next Monday, 7 o'clock for members of this channel, sponsor members, 8 o'clock on the big show for all of you. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you, Audrey Hepburn and Charade. Oh, there's some really good movies out there. I'll see you guys later. Bye.